It's not clear when the Pakistan cricket team will be able to train or if all the players will be released from MIQ in time for the first match of the tour after some of the squad tested positive for COVID. 10 people from the visiting side have the virus, with some of those cases deemed historic. The visitors are also on their last warning after it was revealed some players breached isolation rules, mingling together and sharing food. And the team had its exemption to train after day 3 testing cancelled after it was discovered some were infected. I asked sports reporter Clay Wilson what all of this means for the game schedule.
Well, they're still not training. They were supposed to be training as of day 4. But the Minister for COVID Response, Chris Hipkins, confirmed yesterday that still wasn't happening, and he still wasn't sure when that was going to happen. Of course, we do have these positive cases, but some of the players are negative and appear to be safe, but they're still not allowed to go out and train. We don't know. Chris Hipkins says he's waiting for advice from local health officials down there in Christchurch about them saying that it's okay, and then he'll get the final clearance on that. But he said he doesn't have any notice from them as of this point that that's going to happen at any particular day. Hopefully, I'm sure they'll be hoping it will be soon, but we don't know when that will be.
So what do you know about when they're supposed to get out and if they will be able to get out, given that some of them are infected while others aren't?
Yeah, we still don't know that either. New Zealand Cricket say the schedule for the matches hasn't changed. They're supposed to be playing the first T20 on the 18th of December. They're supposed to be out next Tuesday. But we still don't know whether some of those players are going to be able to come out if they are negative and deemed to be safe, or whether they're going to wait to do it as a whole squad. So really there's a lot of things up in the air here. Will some of them get out? Will all of them get out? Will they have to stay in longer? We're not sure. But of course, these games are coming around pretty fast. December 18th is not that far away. Not only do they need to train, but they need to be out to be able to play these games in the first place.
So is there any suggestion yet that first game won't go ahead?
Not as yet. New Zealand Cricket have told us today that the schedule hasn't changed, but of course they're working day to day like everyone else is, so they're probably waiting on further advice or things to develop further in terms of what's going to happen with the team, but they're still planning for that first T20 to go ahead on December 18 as planned.
So how panicked will the team be about not being able to train? What difference will it make to them?
Well, of course, this is elite sport, it's professional sport. They're preparing to play a Black Caps team who, of course, are going to come into these games on the back of 3 T20s against the West Indies and 2 Test matches. So a lot of these New Zealand players would have been playing competitive games, and that makes a difference. It's not the same as you might compare it to rugby when the Wallabies came here. Of course, rugby is a physical, high-contact sport, and the players need to be getting those sort of reps in and getting their bodies used to that kind of sport, whereas cricket is less so like that. But of course, it's still important to be able to go out and train if they're going to go out and compete against a Black Caps team, not only playing at home, but also who are going to have games under their belt.
What can you tell us about the testing regime and the monitoring that is happening with this team?
Well, for a normal person going into MIQ, they get tested on day 3 and day 12. Now, we know this Pakistan team has been tested on days 1, 3, 6 and 9, which is day 9 is today, and they're also going to be tested on day 12. So obviously the Ministry of Health and health officials are taking a very watchful approach with this Pakistan team, knowing what's going on, perhaps even before they even knew this, judging by the fact that they were tested on day 1 as well. So they're watching it very closely. So I guess that's the best hope we can have, is that they are being tested more than the average person. And hopefully through that, we're going to be able to keep a really close eye on who's positive, who's negative, who's safe and who isn't.
Given the drought that there's been with sport during this global pandemic, how anticipated are these games?
Yeah, well, definitely. The game's going on against the West Indies at the moment. I guess we've got that sort of return to international cricket back. But it's a big summer for New Zealand, not only hosting West Indies, Pakistan, Bangladesh and then Australia. And sports fans have been starved of this kind of stuff for the last 9 months or so. So, of course, to lose any of these games is going to be a big blow, but also to New Zealand cricket financially. These games are worth a lot financially, so that's on the line for them here. Any of these games that fall over, they stand to lose some money out of it. But certainly for cricket fans, they don't want to lose any international games, given we haven't seen any for so long.
And that's sports reporter Clay Wilson there. We requested an interview with New Zealand Cricket CEO David White and its new chairman Martin Snedden, but both declined.